did last time. And obviously, I would like to hear from you what has transpired in these 2 days in your life, and kindly share. And let it be a very interactive session. Please keep your cameras on so that we can see each other. And while you're speaking, it's better to see your face. That adds so much more life to the whole interaction. So we spoke about that we all want to rise in life and like this tower, but to rise in life, we have to go deep, like the foundation. And I spoke about my kitchen experience, that I was in Europe and my mother had taught me how to cook. And somehow the recipe helped, but it wasn't good enough, because in life it's just not your tools, it's not only your utensils, it's about you. And this program is really about going deep in ourselves and working on the inner ingredients, yeah, and making a difference outside. Why are we doing this? Because we have seen that there is a performance gap. Sometimes we want to say something and we're not able to say it. Sometimes we don't want to do something and we land up doing. Sometimes we get upset with somebody who's close to us. We don't want to do that. Sometimes we want to do something, we want to embark on some project, but we're not able to do it. So we're trying to, as much as possible, bridge the performance gap, right? So that's the whole purpose. And like the iceberg, the work will be done below the water lines. Okay, and as we said, there are many ingredients we have. And some of these ingredients are salty, some are spicy, some are sweet, some are pungent, and we are a mix of a lot of ingredients. And for the convenience of this workshop, we have said that there are 4 ingredients we are going to be focusing on, and that's wanting, that's thinking, that's feeling, and the last one is doing or acting. And we call these 4 as our team members. We have the dreamer, who represents the feel, the wanting in us, the thinker, who represents the thinking in us, the relator, who is the feeling element, and the warrior, who is, the doing, the acting part of it. So these are the 4 boxes in which they sit, and a brief introduction about these 4 boxes. The thinker is somebody who applies facts and logic, uh, considers consequences, looks from all sides. If a thinker has done a good job, you're on the right track. But before the thinker, the dreamer comes in, and he generates the vision that this is what we want to achieve in life. He has a sense of the direction he or she wants to take. We also have the relator, who connects with emotions, builds trust with people, collaborates with others, and the warrior, who speaks his mind, holds his ground, takes action, lives by his values or her values. Now, in some situations, in some cases, the thinker in me is very strong, and the dreamer is also very strong, but somewhere I feel I need to work on the relator and the warrior piece. So this whole endeavor is to see which are those pieces which are strong in me, and those which are those pieces which need some work. Yeah, so that's the whole endeavor. And how do I balance it off? How do I bring in those pieces which are maybe missing, or they are not being used? So that is the endeavor. At the end of this session today, we're going to be sharing a questionnaire which you will fill up. And based on the questionnaire, you will get some of your strengths, your signature strengths, your top 5 strengths. And this will help you understand why you are a dreamer, why are you more of a thinker, why are you more of a relator. Having said that, you can develop the other facets of your life, uh, because these are all strengths. Some are lesser strengths, some are more strengths, but you can develop them. You may not use them so much, but you can work on them, you can develop them. Now, which One, so self mastery is about integrating the inner team members to balance each other. You need all the four of them. You can't kick them out saying, Warrior, I don't need you. Okay. Well, you may not, you can say, Warrior, let's try a new strategy this time. But the idea is to use all the four of them. And then we have the fifth one, who's a captain, who's a transformer. Now, what does a transformer do? He or she aligns your team members to your values and purpose, uh, gains flexibility. Okay, in this moment, we need to move from a dreamer to a thinker. Okay, uh, keeps me balanced, purposeful, grounded, and productive. So, just a summary of all our 14 members. What are their strengths, focus of attention, what are the skills? Spend a minute to just digest uh, what we discussed in the previous session. If you have any questions, you have any comments, uh, before we dive into the second session, you can tell us something about your experiences. Uh, Please feel free.
I think the chart is very well made. It really gives a very clear picture of how a dreamer, what is the dreamer's strength or a thinker's strength, and what does it provide for skills, everything. It's quite clear.
Okay, this particular table, yeah, it is quite clear. In fact, we would be going deeper into this today. Yeah, thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, this is Naman here.
Yeah, Naman.
So yeah, thank you, bro. So I'll share some one experience. I mean, like the you started at what we were going through these 2 days, and I have a question also, so I'll do both the things. So yeah, so this session, like I was thinking about how these four things are there inside me when I am more
Okay,
of a dreamer, thinker, relator, warrior, and then I was
okay.
analyzing others also. Like I remember I was talking yesterday at length with one of my friends, and then we were sort of discussing something back and forth, and then I could feel
Mhm.
that he is more of a warrior and less of a relator, and I was more of a
Okay,
relator and less of a warrior. And so
okay,
so
okay.
that some sort of thought process was going on, and I am also looking forward. Like yesterday also I was thinking, okay, today in today's session we would be going more deep about understanding these I mean, like going in depth of all the four ingredients. So I'm looking forward for that.
Thank
And I just have a question, small question here.
you. Mhm.
I was looking again at this chart, what is there in the screen now.
Mhm.
I i am not sure if I understand correctly that how warrior is providing protection. I understand that courage and accomplishment, strength is courage, skill is accomplishment, but provides protection. I'm not able to recall this understanding. So can you help me
Yeah,
there, please?
so a warrior will stand up for his or her causes and relationship. They will fight for you. They will stand up for you. So,
Okay.
for example, if your value is honesty, and if that is
Okay.
being challenged, the warrior in you will protect yourself by speaking up. So, uh, if the person values relationships, and if the relationship is
Okay.
being threatened, if
Okay.
the person relationship is being threatened, then the warrior will get up and fight. In this way, they will protect you. And the same warrior can harm you because they have a lot of power. They can use it in a constructive way, they can use it in a destructive way. So they stand up. They stand up because their strength is courage. They stand up for what is right.
Okay. Protection comes from there. Yeah. Okay.
So it is a combination of getting the job done and what line to draw. So when you cross that line, they will they will wake up. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
anybody else, or we move ahead?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. This is Ashish.
Yes,
Prabhuji,
Ashish.
I have a doubt in the previous slide.
Okay, I'll move to the
That
previous slide.
transformer. Na?
Yes.
Yeah. Prabhuji, what is a transformer here? Is it like someone who is like a thinker, dreamer, one of the element, or exactly what is transformer?
Transformer, we will be going into it in the next session in more detail. However, uh, there is a thinker, there is a dreamer, there is a warrior, and there's a relator. Now, at a particular point in time, if a particular member is quiet, is low, the transformer notices that, and he allows that person, the team player who's low, to speak up, and then they decide who's going to act in that particular situation. So that is the job of the transformer. He enables or she enables this whole process, because the thinker, dreamer, relator, and warrior, they are all independent and they are only concerned with their departments, and they will project their department, or they might not project their department. But the transformer has your concern at the center. The transformer represents you, your values, your purpose, your goals. And to achieve that, if the thinker needs to act, it will enable that. If the warrior needs to act, then he or she will enable that.
Prabhuji, is it
We will
something
go.
like conscious? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Maybe you can call it Atma, you can call it conscience. Yeah, you can give it any name. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is a combination of psychology and philosophy. This is, talks about your emotions, your mind, your intelligence, as well as your soul. Okay. So thank you. We move ahead. I'm going to show you a video right now. And this video is about Gandhiji. And this video is, he's in South Africa. And there is a law which is passed in South Africa, which says that they do not consider any marriage out of Christianity to be legal, to be valid. And Gandhiji is very upset about this new law, and he is addressing a group of people. Now, the purpose of showing the video is to ask you, what elements of Gandhiji are you seeing in this video? The dreamer, the warrior, the relator, or the thinker? Okay, so have a look at this video, and we'll have a small conversation after that.
I want to welcome you all, every one of you. We have no secrets. Let us begin by being clear about General Smuts' new law. All Indians must now be fingerprinted, like criminals, men and women. No marriage other than a Christian marriage is considered valid. Under this act, our wives and mothers are whores, and every man here is a bastard. He has become quite good at this. And a policeman passing an Indian dwelling, I will not call them homes, may enter and demand the card of any Indian woman whose dwelling it is. Understand? He does not have to stand at the door. He may enter. I will not allow. I swear to Allah, I'll kill the man who offers that insult to my home and my wife, and let them hang me. I say, talk means nothing. Kill off your officials before they disgrace one Indian woman. Then they might think twice about such laws. In that cause, I would be willing to die. is such courage. I need such courage because in this cause I too am prepared to die. But my friend, there is no cause for which I am prepared to kill. Whatever they do to us, we will attack no one, kill no one, but we will not give our fingerprints, not one of us. They will imprison us, they will fine us, they will seize our possessions, but they cannot take away our self-respect if we do not give it to them.
Have you been to prison? They beat us and torture us. I say that we
I am asking you to fight against their anger, not to provoke it. We will not strike a blow, but we will receive them. And through our pain, we will make them see their injustice, and it will hurt, as all fighting hurts. But we cannot lose. We cannot. They may torture my body, break my bones, even kill me. Then they will have my dead body, not my obedience.
Okay, so what did you see Mr. Gandhi exhibited? Can we have some responses?
I think he exhibited all the four, used all the four team members.
Who's this?
This is Ria.
Yeah.
Okay, Ria. Yes. So why do you feel he exhibited all the four?
Because he was a warrior, because he stood up, action oriented. He
Okay.
was a thinker because he was thinking about how to deal with it.
Okay.
And his feelings were also involved when he talks about the pain and everything.
Okay.
And what's the fourth one?
The dreamer.
Yeah, the dreamer, because he has a vision.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else would like to add to whatever they understood?
I think he was predominantly a thinker because of the thought process. He expressed his thoughts, but of course he would be a combination of all four, but I personally feel that he was predominantly a thinker.
Thinker. Okay. Fine. Fine. Thank you. Anybody else would like to add?
I think thinker too, predominantly. He's giving his opinion. It's very clear. He's done a lot of analysis and it's reflection. So that's thinker.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. He is exhibiting all the possible team members. And there's no right answer as such. It is your own perception. But what is critical is that how he has managed to encompass all the four team members. So he is a dreamer. He talks about his vision. He is a thinker. He speaks about how he's going to do it. He relates with the people because he's connected with them emotionally. Yeah. And he's a warrior. I mean, he's standing for his values. He believes in nonviolence. Yeah. So so the whole idea of today's session is that how do I balance? How do I integrate all the four in my life? But before that, I need to know where is it? Where is it that my strengths are? Where is it that my focus is? And where is it that I need to work on? So the whole endeavor right now is self-exploration to see where am I and what do I need to do. Okay, so I'm going to start with the dreamer. Now the dreamer, if you see, dreamers have created a lot of good things for us. I mean, today we are on Zoom. I'm sure somebody thought of it many years back, saying that why can't people sit at home and communicate with each other without really moving out, look at each other, right? So that's the job of the dreamer. Yeah, we have today Skype, we have Zoom, we have Facebook, WhatsApp. These are all innovations which were created by dreamers, right? Now, I'm going to present a situation to you, and you need to tell me whether A is a dreamer, is he a high dreamer, is he a low dreamer, or is he or she a balanced dreamer? Okay, now you're working for a company and you have a boss, and suddenly the boss quits the company and there is nobody to replace the boss. And your super boss comes and tells you that, my friend, we have decided that you should take over the boss's position. And person A says that, well, I never anticipated this. This is quite new to me. I don't think I'm ready for it. Okay, that's option A. Option B is, wow, I was waiting for it. Great. I mean, it's a great opportunity. He or she takes it up. But while working as the new boss, he or she is not able to get the team together. There are a lot of operational issues and things are not going right for this new boss. Option C is the person, when he gets to know or she gets to know about this new opportunity, very happy, goes to the boss, super boss, and says, I was really aspiring for something like this. This is part of my vision. I have some plans of how to execute it. I want to have a discussion and conversation with you and get your point of view. So these are three responses in a situation. In your chat box, you can tell me option A is this, option B is this, option C is this. So you have to choose high dreamer, low dreamer, and balanced dreamer. So in your chat box, if you could write down what are the right answers.
Is this about A, B, C? Is it about like three different persons, right?
There are three different responses. Now we need to classify which one is a high dreamer response, which one is a low dreamer response, and which one is a balanced dreamer response. I hope you understood the situation and the options. If anybody has the answer, okay, so yes, we've got some answers. Yes. Okay, wonderful. Okay. Yes. Okay, so good. I think it was a very easy question. A lot of people have answered it right. So why do you feel that A is a low dreamer? Yeah, anybody can just unmute and speak. Why do you think A is a low dreamer? Let's make it interactive.
Because he just gave up the situation. I mean, he did not give it a thought of even trying it out. He just gave up the situation that I cannot handle it.
Okay, so he didn't have a vision. He was not even expecting it. It just came to him suddenly from somewhere and he said, I'm not ready for it.
Right.
Why do you think low dreamers don't have a vision? Who don't have a dream? Why do you think somebody who's a low dreamer does not have a vision? Anybody can answer.
Because of the
take chances or risk. Doesn't want to
they don't want, yeah, correct.
Don't want to take any chances of
challenges.
risk.
They don't want to take challenges in life, basically.
They don't want to take challenges in life. Okay, so what happens when you think of a dream? You need some courage to think, right? I mean, it requires courage to think, okay, I'm going to set up my new office in New York, and I'm already doing business in India. It requires courage to think big. Okay, thank you. What else do you think will stop somebody from thinking big?
Low on confidence.
Low on confidence. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Why? How does confidence impact this?
Fear of failure.
He doesn't have the confidence that his dreams will turn into reality.
What will stop him? What I mean, out of the balanced three players, who is going to interfere with the dreamer's role? Who's the most,
Warrior,
why would the warrior interfere?
because maybe low on action also.
Okay, so well, great
Low
dreams.
on dreamer and low on action would be connected.
Yeah, yes, low on action. Yes, so because you need the warrior to start working on your dreams, but before the warrior starts working on the dreams, what do you need to do?
Think.
I mean,
Think.
Yeah, so the thinker comes into play. Now, can the thinker discourage the dreamer in any way?
Yeah, by over
Yes,
analyzing,
definitely.
by thinking of the risk more.
Has this
Fear
happened
of
to
failure.
you? Has this happened to you where the thinker in you says, I don't think this is going to work?
Yes, it happens with me. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thinker can really be a spoil sport to the dreamer.
Yes.
Fear of failure also.
Fear of failure.
Fear
Yes.
of failure.
The thinker will say, are you crazy? You're going to be investing so much money. What if it fails? Now, there is no, so it's okay. The thinker's job is to think. But if the dreamer knows that the thinker thinks good of him and he's open to ideas, then it could be a healthy conversation. Okay. Secondly, B is a high dreamer. Why is B a high dreamer?
Willing to take risks and challenges.
Okay, so he's a high dreamer. Okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and I jump into it, and then I'm not
that
successful. Yeah.
yeah, that might be his a second nature. Anything comes, then he can. The reason he is a high dreamer is that he has some good experiences in the past, in his previous organization or a previous opportunity. He would have succeeded very nicely. So it's another opportunity for him. So he can so it's a nature to him. So intrinsic to him.
So he has experienced success, so he dreams big. However, why does the dreamer fail? Why did the dreamer fail in this particular case?
Because I think thinking let him down.
Yeah, so he did
He
not
didn't
go
think.
through the thinking process of
The
executing
thinking process.
Yes. So you see how these players they relate with each other. They really complement each other. Yeah. Why do dreamers quit? How many times have you experienced this that you worked on something and you quit it? You started with a new product, a new service, and after some time you just quit it.
Is it the lack of confidence?
Why does your confidence go down?
Lack of
I
immediate
mean,
results.
I'm not getting the results. Or I got some results after which I experienced some failure. And then suddenly we claw back saying, okay, sorry, dreamer, this was a good, sweet dream. Now I think it's time to look at some other dream. Now,
Or it could also be the expectation of immediate gratification and results, as opposed to the ability to have tenacity to continue and be able to override the pitfalls. And dreamers often lack the ability, the basic thing called staying power.
yeah. So where does the staying power come from? That's the big question. Where does the
Tenacity.
staying power come from? Tenacity, yes. Now, if you remember
And
J.K.
the
Rowling,
ability to look foolish, the ability to fall, the ability to not be what you see yourself as, but be maybe a lesser person and grow into that bigger person.
okay. Yes, I mean, you're ready to fail, you're ready to fall, but you see yourself growing in that process. And sometimes your power of your dream is so strong that you want to pursue it irrespective of what the present circumstances are. For example, the author of Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, She was rejected by, I think, maybe 5 or 6 publishers. She was virtually homeless till one publisher accepted her book, and the rest is history. And she's one of the richest ladies in Britain today. But she was so convinced that what she had produced had a lot of value. So if we have that belief that, what I'm trying to do is got tremendous value, then failures might not upset you, not discourage you so much. So if we dream, we can dream big, but how convinced we are about our dream. So that's the dreamer. Yeah. Now, typically, what does a balanced dreamer do? Okay, a balanced dreamer has a clear vision. He knows, okay, this is where I want to go. Okay, if you ask a dreamer what his dream is, you can wake him up in the middle of the night and the story will unfold, right? They expect setbacks. They know there is going to be a problem. It's not going to be a smooth ride, right? And very importantly, they have a sense of direction. They know that this is the right path. There may be no data supporting it, but they have this intuition. A lot of people have this intuition. I think this product will work. I think this person is good. I think this person is bad. Where does it come from? It's your sixth sense. But dreamers have this sixth sense very, very active, because that sixth sense has helped them develop their dream also. So they have the dream, they have the tenacity, as somebody said, Nishaji said, to continue irrespective of the failures. Like Wright brothers, it's not that the first flight took off and went up in the air. They must have tried so many times. The flight must have taken off and fallen, but they continued because they had this belief that it will fly one day. And then the intuition to take decisions whether we should try this or we should try that. So if I have to be a balanced dreamer, I need to have these 3 elements in me, which I should practice, right? Now, dreamer can be somebody who practices in daily life. I remember, it could be that you want to paint your wall a different color. You've just been dreaming that I want my room to be brighter than before, So something in small ways, you can dream of today trying a new recipe, okay? So dreamers can be you. Dreamers can be experienced in our day-to-day experiences. I remember, we launched a journal.
What are the 3 qualities, Prabhu? What are the 3 qualities they need to have?
You need to know your vision. You need to generate a vision. You need to know where I need to go, and you need to be sold out on that vision. You should believe in that vision. Secondly, is that while you're on the path, you're going to experience setbacks. You don't give up. Like Srila Prabhupada had a vision that he's going to have, the ISKCON movement all over the world. He experienced so many setbacks, but he was so convinced, he kept on going, right? And third is that the power of intuition, which will keep on guiding you, which is the right direction to take when you are at a crossroad. Yeah. So dreamers in daily life, it could be a new recipe, it could be new ways to do things. You have this element of creativity you want to try. Now tell me, if you have a strong dreamer in you, what does a dreamer do? I just want to understand, what does a dreamer do in your life? For example, I'm a dreamer, and for me, being creative is very, very important. So for me, if I have to work on a new video of a product, or if I have to work on a brochure, I really love the experience because it brings out the creativity in me. Yeah. So what is it? If you think you're a high dreamer, how does it come out in your life? We just want to understand that.
I think most of the time a dreamer is contemplating.
Okay. Contemplating on what?
On the dream or the subject matter, what he wants to pursue. So
Okay.
most of the time the dreamer is contemplating on the thing, how to get it done.
That's more of a thinker. That's more of a thinker.
Okay.
Yeah, the dreamer is dreaming about the house he wants to stay in. It should be on the sea, it should be on this flow. So that's the contemplation possibly the dreamer is doing.
Okay, okay, fine.
But in your life, if you are a dreamer, what are the dreams that you get? I mean, if you think you're high on dreams.
Yeah, so for dreamer, like we have the example of Srila Prabhupada,
Yeah.
that on a bench, like he mentioned to one subway contractor or someone, it's mentioned in the Lilamrit that there are temples, there are devotees, and everything is there. Only time is separating that. So I think dreamer is someone who envisions the future, that what the goal is there, has a higher vision, and then so he's very clear in that. So suppose if I dream that I want to work in Microsoft, so then that's a dream for me, that I that's a dream for me. Right now I'm not in Microsoft, but I want to work for Microsoft. So like that's a clear dream for me. So the dreamer inside me will uh, you know uh, make me always think that I should one day I have to be in Microsoft, and then the action will follow.
So
So
have you
I think
tried
that is.
applying to Microsoft?
No, personally, I'm like, I just give an example. I
Oh,
haven't yet, but yeah. So if the dreamer in me sometimes say, but yeah, I have changed couple of companies. So whenever I wanted to change to a different company,
mhm.
so I did had that. Now it's time I want to go to the next level of my
Okay.
career. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Naman. Anybody else has a dream? Anybody has a dream?
So
I
thinking
have this
self
question.
dominantly as a dreamer,
Yeah.
I would say that most of the times when I've been a dreamer, um the ability to literally jump over some issues or practicalities that would serve as impediments is what is not present in a dreamer's journey. And that actually helps you metaphorically flying over the moon, getting what you want, or making things happen. Where if you are going to weigh too many of the impediments, you're not really able to go beyond. Like the person who mentioned Srila Prabhupada, I think he landed in America, am I right? Without
Yeah.
too many contacts and accoutrements. Now, had he weighed the pros and cons before he landed, he would never have taken that leap of faith. So, are you trying to say that a person with the ability to take a leap of faith without evaluating too many of the pros and cons, because when you go and you're too practical about pros and cons, and I've done this in my life, where other people weighed a lot of the pros and cons, I feel I may not have, and probably that gave me that ability to fulfill a lot of my dreams, Dayalu Ram Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you, Nishaji. So that's why the thinker will paralyze the dreamer, and the dreamer takes a step back. However, if the dreamer is very convinced about his or her idea, his or her dreams, then irrespective of the success the dreamer achieves, they continue. So if Naman wants to apply to Microsoft, and if he gets rejected in the first application, he doesn't say, okay, it's the end of the story. He says, can I apply again? Maybe I need to learn something. Maybe I said something stupid in the interview. The process of continuing resume after resume is the dreamer in you who's not giving up. I mean, you have so much faith that the external success matters, but not so much. What really matters is my aspiration to achieve my dreams. Yeah, thank you. So in school, I was a dreamer, and somehow I was not able to recognize that I had this quality of a dreamer. And a quality of dreamer is to imagine something which doesn't exist, to be creative. But unfortunately, our school system did not value creativity. They wanted me to write answers which were exactly in the textbook. And my strength became my weakness in school. And this absolutely confused me about my ability. I felt maybe I'm not good enough, because the system around did not encourage dreamers. They encouraged people who could copy and paste. They did not encourage innovation. So, do we have strengths of a dreamer? What is a strength? A strength is something which is existing in you, it's pre existing in you. It is a capacity which you have. It is something which energizes you. It is something which generates good performance in you. And it is something which gives you a lot of enjoyment as you do it again and again. So there are three criteria of knowing whether dreamer is a strength or not. A, you love doing it, you love dreaming. You get energized when you dream. And when you dream, you create wonderful ideas. So if these things are happening to you, that means dreamer is a strength in you. And then there are five qualities of a dreamer. And I'm going to name these 5 qualities or 5 strengths. And you see if you have these in your DNA, because these are pre-existing. A dreamer is courageous. He likes to dream of things which do not exist. Okay. For example, somebody thought of Uber, did not exist. This person had a courage to say, oh, I think there is something which can be done. Second quality is imagination. This person can imagine, loves to imagine, can create wonderful things. So in my house, if they want something creative, I'm the go-to person. Oh, tomorrow is his birthday. What do we do? Okay. Dad, I need an idea for my new project. Why they come to me? Because they know that I have that strength and I enjoy doing it. For me, it's not a to-do in my task list. It's something which will never come in my to-do list, because I will do it irrespective whether it is in the to-do list or not. So imagination. Third is hope. These people are very hopeful. There is a lot of positivity in them. It will happen. Even if it fails, it will happen. I'm very hopeful. They don't give up. It comes naturally to some people. They're very curious. Why not? It's not about why, it's about why not. Why can't we do this? It doesn't happen now, but why can't we do this? Why can't we do it like this? There's a lot of curiosity in them. They're very strong in their intuitive powers. They can sense what is the right way to go. A lot of decision making is from the gut, they say. It's a gut. It's from the gut. What is the gut? Yeah, it's your intuitive power. It tells you the right direction to take. And very passionate. They're very passionate about their dreams. Keep on thinking about it, and that keeps on energizing them. So just take a note of these trends. We'll be revisiting them tomorrow in the next session. But if you have these ingredients, that means the dreamer in you is alive. Yeah. So I'll just repeat: they are courage, imagination, hope, curiosity, intuitive, passion. Any questions? Any comments? Which one do you think you have? Which are your top 2 out of these?
In the 3
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hello? Yes?
Yeah. Prabhuji, all these things are situational based, right? A person can be a high dreamer in one situation, can be a high thinker in one situation. Am I right in this?
Well, what the science says is that these trends are pre-existing. Okay. So in any situation, the dreamer in you will become very active naturally. However, in that situation, you may not need to play the role of a dreamer. So then you don't need to play the role of a dreamer. But if the situation demands that you need to be a dreamer, it will come to you very easily. It'll be very energizing. Just to give you an example, if you have a paper in front of you and a pen and paper, can you write your name 5 times? Can you write your name 5 times, please? Okay, now that you've written your name 5 times, shift the pen or pencil to your other hand, which is a non-dominant hand, and next to those 5 names, write your names again.
I cannot write.
Don't give up, dreamer. It's okay, continue. Okay, now the experience when you wrote with your dominant hand was how? Can you please tell us how was your experience when you wrote with your dominant hand?
It was quite
Anybody?
natural.
It was very smooth, Guruji.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Effortless.
Very natural.
Very smooth.
Effortless.
Yes. Now,
And
obviously, it is.
instinctive.
I'm sorry?
Instinctive.
Very instinctive, yes. Now, that is a parallel to your strength. It's very instinctive, it's very natural, it's very easy. You don't mind writing again and again with this hand. The handwriting is good. It's very effective. It looks good. Now let's look at how was the experience writing with the other hand. How was it? Come on, tell me. Look at your...
Difficult. Difficult.
Yeah. Very
It
difficult.
was awkward and
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Horrible. The performance was horrible, right?
And didn't want to continue. We wanted to just give up.
Yeah, you want to just give up. Nonsense. Suppose I tell you, okay, now for the rest of the session, I'm going to be dictating you 1 page and you have to write with your non-dominant hand. How excited would you be?
At all. Not at all.
Yeah, it's de-energizing, right? Now, so we write with our dominant hand because that has become our strength because of the practice and the skills and all those things. But this is just a parallel to show that what your strengths are. Strengths are something which are very natural. They are very effortlessly, they come to you. They energize you, and they are pre-existing in you. They are like seeds which you have, watered, nurtured, and they've grown into plants, and they're bearing flowers and fruits. And there are certain things which don't come to me naturally. Maybe the warrior in me doesn't come to me naturally. I need to acknowledge that. I need to accept it. Like for me, to have a tough conversation with my business partner or with my employee will burn a lot more calories than actually working. Because for me, that's not natural. But that does not mean that if something is not natural to me, I should not do it. If the situation demands that I need to act like a warrior, I need to use it. So I remember Sudhir is on the call on the platform right now, and I heard him speak yesterday. We had a conversation, and he said, "I don't think I need to be a warrior." So Sudhir is definitely a warrior. I know. I have worked with him for so long, but he decided that it's not the right time to be a warrior. Maybe it was more of being a relator. So it's an awareness that grows in you that, okay, in this particular moment, what is it that I need to be, I need to do? It's that awareness. So it's like, I'm a right-handed and I go to the airport and I have 2 bags to carry. So obviously, the heavier one is going to be carried by my right hand. But do I use my left hand to carry my other bag, or should I not use my left hand? Obviously, I will use my left hand. But because the situation demands that I have to use my other hand, because there's no other option, there's no trolley at this point in time. So I will carry my lighter luggage with my left hand, but I will use my left hand. But the moment I get a chance, I will move to my right hand because that is my strength. My strength is in my right hand, not so much in my left hand. So the whole question is that, do I know if dreamer is my strength? Well, these are the 6 ingredients which will tell you whether dreamer is your strength. Are you somebody who imagines, who's very intuitive, who's very curious, who's very passionate, who's very courageous? Then the dreamer in you is very, very active. Okay, that's your natural strength. I mean, you can see it in hard abilities, somebody who loves to sing, has talent for singing. Tell them to sing again and again. They are so happy to sing. Somebody who's an artist, it's got the talent to draw or paint. They will continue doing what they are doing. They'll be energized. You tell that person who's an artist, why don't you start learning economics? No way. There are artists who love economics. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that if you have a strength in you, it will manifest in such a way that you'll feel like doing it again and again. It will energize you more and more. It'll be a good performance, and it's effortless. So the key is energy. If you do certain things, and if that thing energizes you, that is your strength. So just be very mindful of what you do every day, and just see what is energizing you, what is de-energizing you. The moment you see something energizing you, do more of it. Capture it somewhere. And obviously, the assessment which you will do at the end of the session will give you, a kind of a scientific perspective on what are your strengths, but nothing better than yourself in terms of judging what your strengths are. Okay. So, any questions on dreamer before we move to the thinker?
Yeah.
Deepak, hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, this is Rupal. I'm a mother of a 15-year-old. I'm asking this question as a mother, as a parent. My son is addicted to playing video games, and he dreams of becoming a gamer. He keeps on telling me, Mom, I'm going to be playing this and I'm going to be becoming a gamer. So you feel a dreamer can get addicted to his dreams, as playing that game over and over again energizes him. He's passionate about it. He's quite courageous, that he keeps on asking us that, I'm not going to stop doing this. So all the qualities of a dreamer are there in him. But do you feel that he is falling into addiction more than becoming a dreamer?
Okay, so
this is a question of a parent, because when I was joining this course, the best thing that attracted me, to take up this course was, because it was guided for parenting also. So, which is why I felt that I can ask you this question. It's a concern.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody was saying something.
Yeah. So, Naman here. Actually, just when you asked that, if you have some questions, so on the same grounds as ma'am was asking, so maybe that's why I'm just pitching in before you answer. So, so when we are talking about that Microsoft thing, so going to Microsoft is a dream. So sometimes it happens that while following that dream, if the dreamer is too active, so the other things in life might go for a toss. The health might go for a toss, or the relationship. uh, my toss means that I might give full of my attention for going to Microsoft 6 months, 1 year, whatever, and at that time other things might go for a toss. So is it the flip side of being a dreamer? That's a part. And the second thing is that at this time, where is the thinker, related, and warrior doing? So yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
if
why.
it
So if
should be
you're a
put
high
together.
dreamer, that's not very good. So you have to be a balanced dreamer where you balance the thinker and the warrior and the relator, so that you don't go overboard. You know, so that's where the awareness has to be there. The mindfulness has to be there. That I think I'm going overboard in my dreams. I've lost my relationships. I've lost my health. So the thinker will wake up and say, listen, Naman, you need to take care of your health. The relator will say, take care of your family, right? So, uh, yeah, so yes, you need to, that's why we're not endeavoring to be a high dreamer. We are endeavoring to be a balanced dreamer. who can integrate all the other elements here. Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, Rupalji, your question was that your son loves gaming and he wants to be a gamer. See, I love cricket. If you tell me to hold a bat and play, well, I will qualify for my building cricket team, but definitely not for Mumbai. So there's a difference between what I love to do and what I'm born to do. If I love to do is complemented with what I'm born to do, that's talent. So playing video games, a lot of people love playing video games and they'll continue playing for hours. But is
That's
that
what
your
is the
talent?
concern, Guruji, because should I encourage him, discourage him so many times because he's at that age, he's into his teens, he's 15, wherein, they don't listen to you, they back answer, they do not, they do not rationalize that, whether what they're doing right now is right or wrong. He thinks his dream is to become a gamer is what he talks about. And, when we ask him that, what is your ambition, what you want to do in life? And when he gives us answers like this, that's what, Guruji, I want to ask that, should we, as a mother,
So we need to
encourage
check
it?
whether, yeah, we please encourage him, but please give him a perspective of reality that what goes behind the game. So maybe he could do a short course on gaming and see whether this really interests him. Is this his real talent? Because so many times people are doing something, but when it comes to actually making a game, that requires a different set of competencies. If he really enjoys that part, that means he's cut out for gaming. So just enroll him for some
So many
online
parents
course.
we discourage and we keep on nagging him that what you're doing is not right. Maybe because he's good at studies as well. So which is why he takes it very easily. And me as a concerned mother, I keep worrying about why is he doing this so often and he's not concentrating on his studies. So, I mean, when I read about all these 5 qualities of a dreamer, I really felt I could see my son Tanish. He said he is really courageous. He imagines. He's got a lot of hope. He's very curious. Intuition goes beyond this thing, and he's very passionate. So I feel the dreamer in him is really high.
Please encourage him. Just protect his eyes because too much of gaming is good for his health. So now you see his confidence level will be high because he's getting to practice some of his strengths. Like I told you in school, I didn't get a chance to be imaginative and creative because the school environment at that time was very restricted. But when they practice their inborn talents, that gives them a lot of confidence to face other aspects of life, other subjects also. Because I'm so good in this, it rubs on to my other subjects. Okay, so we move ahead. Yeah, is that okay? Rupalji, if you want to talk offline on parenting, I'll be more than happy to connect with you because that's a subject which is close to my heart also. So now we go into the thinker. Am I muted?
No, you're audible.
I'm audible, right? Okay. Okay. So we get into the thinker. Now, am I a natural thinker? Is it my strength? You have to keep on keeping your ears and eyes open to understand that. Now basically, there is a person in my building who wants to sell his flat, and he says, "I want so much money. He has a dream that I should get so much money for this flat." It's been, I think, close to 5 years. His flat has not been sold. What do you think is missing? Why is he not able to sell his flat? What are your guesses?
Low thinking.
Why is he low thinking?
He is because he is not able to accept the fact that the price that he is looking for, maybe nobody is going to pay that price, so he has to step down.
Fantastic. So yes, so that's where the dreamer meets the thinker. Okay, now the price, so the price in the market is 100, he's asking for 200, and it will not sell for the next 5 years also. So people have to be in touch with reality, and that's what the thinker's job is. What does a thinker do? If you see, thinker is about connecting the dots. These theories which are produced in the education sector, job of thinkers. Thinkers are the ones who plan, who budget, milestones, timelines. Thinker's job, analysis, thinker's job, right? Now let's see who's a high thinker, who's a low thinker, who's a balanced thinker. Okay. For example, I've worked very hard on my presentation. The presentation day has arrived. The time has arrived. I have started making my presentation. It's going on fine. And one person in the group raises his hand and says, Deepak, your numbers are wrong. So one response A is, oh, you think my numbers are wrong? Maybe I might have got it wrong. And I lose my confidence in the presentation, and the effect of the presentation or the flow of the presentation slows down, and I lose the flow. I lose the confidence. The response B is, your numbers are wrong. Did I hear you correctly? You said my numbers are wrong? I don't think so. Why don't you recheck and be my guest after the presentation? Option C, your numbers are wrong. Okay, so you believe my numbers are wrong? Maybe, they may be wrong. Can you please tell me, why do you feel my numbers are wrong? And in the interest of time, let's just move ahead, because there is a lot more data to be presented, and which is going to be very critical for our meeting. So these are three responses. Please tell me. You don't need to put in the chat whatever you feel. Option A, option B, option C, which is high, which is low, which is balanced.
First one is low, second
Okay.
is high, and third is balanced.
So why do you feel the first one is low?
Can you tell us what was the third? There was a fourth one, was there?
No, there's only three. It's high, low, and balanced.
Yes.
Yeah. So first one is low, second is high, and third is balanced.
Okay. So why do you think the first one is low?
Low because he lost his confidence very soon. As soon as somebody pointed out that his numbers were wrong, he didn't have confidence that what he had done was right.
Right. So the natural strength that you're a thinker, was not there. You put in so much effort. Yeah. So if you're a natural thinker, you will not accept it so easily. Yeah. You will try to question.
Yeah.
Okay. And why do you think the last one is balanced? Yeah, the second one is
high. Yeah, because you are you're confident that what your numbers are right, and you're very confident about it. So that was high. And the third balanced was you gave the other person a chance, saying that maybe I'm sure my numbers are right, but if you think that I'm wrong, we can discuss it later. So you didn't put the other person down, but also gave him a chance to put his point across.
Good, thank you. So what is the problem of being a high thinker? What do you think could be problems which a high thinker can create for himself or herself?
I think
do not open the door for
about
anyone for any
overbraining
discussion.
something and over-analyzing and not allowing the creative side of the brain to take over and allow you to give wings to dreams. Because when you overthink a situation, speaking from personal experience, I feel it limits your ability to take chances. Is it?
Yeah, so it's basically sometimes too much of analysis leads to paralysis. Okay, that's there. But I'm very confident about my thinking, like the second response was that, are you sure my numbers are not right? Yeah. What do you think this smells of?
Overconfidence.
Overconfidence.
Overconfidence. There's a lot of pride. You know, people who are very intelligent can develop a lot of ego, and that can hurt relationships. Yeah. So we see
And
this in the
also
corporate
limit
sector.
growth, right?
And obviously it's all linked to that. You know, so you know what you're saying is right, you know what you're doing is right, but the other person is objecting. So for example, there's a case study. There is a gentleman who has a client. The client is a CEO. This gentleman is from a consultancy. This gentleman is an expert, is a subject matter expert. He presents his case to the CEO. The CEO says, I don't agree with his report completely. The consultant says, sorry, what you're thinking is not right. The consultancy loses the project because the CEO believed in something and the consultant believed in something else. They lost the project. The CEO was wrong. They faltered in their assignment. What could the high thinker do at that point in time for becoming a balanced thinker? What could the high thinker do to become a balanced thinker?
They could have reworked it.
Okay, they could have reworked it. Okay, in what way they could rework?
Take others' opinions.
Take the opinion. Why do you feel that you're not, you think I'm wrong or this element is wrong? So what happens when I'm very confident about my thinking, I tend to not listen to people. And that is the beginning of my downfall.
That shut doors to any learning. Basically,
Yes,
it's like you think you are right, absolutely right.
Exactly.
You don't
My strength
open
becomes
any
my
discussion.
Yes, my strength becomes my weakness.
And also, I think we need to find out exactly what is the requirement.
Yeah, maybe to understand why do you feel I'm wrong, and maybe I get an opportunity to correct it. Let me hear the other person out. So in case this person would have been a little more humble and understood the other person's perspective, the project could have been won and the assignment could have been successful. Now in this case, it was a lose-lose. The CEO lost and even the consultancy lost. Yeah. So I'm going to make you hear a video, hear an audio clip, okay? And you're going to tell me this conversation is between a husband and a wife, and they're not having a great relationship. They're not having a great relationship. And you need to tell me what is the role the wife is playing very actively and what is the role the husband is playing very actively. Which team player the wife is playing and which team player is the husband playing. Okay.
I can't stand this anymore.
You can't stand what?
I can't stand the fighting, yelling, you treating me like I'm stupid. I can't take it anymore.
What are you talking about? Is this because I asked you to take back the shirt you bought me? I didn't like it, and the price was absurd. Why would you pay that much?
I'm sick of this. I'm not an idiot.
Who said you're an idiot? I said I didn't like the shirt.
This is ridiculous. I'm not taking this anymore.
What is ridiculous?
All of it.
All of what?
Okay. So this is a conversation between a husband and wife. And I want you to tell me, what is your understanding of this conversation? What active role is the wife playing? Which team player is the wife playing? And which team player is the husband playing?
Wife is the warrior.
Wife is a warrior.
And the husband is a thinker.
Okay, fine. Why do you feel?
Is a relator, I feel.
Sorry?
I know, correct. Wife is a relator.
Wife is a relator.
Relator.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Quite
So
emotional, which is why she's saying, I can't take it anymore. It's whatever effort she made to buy the shirt, the husband doesn't realize it. She's trying to value those emotions which the husband is not understanding. So I think he's a relator, whereas husband is a thinker, because I think he's analyzing and trying and understanding that whatever she's bought is expensive and it's absurd, maybe not needed at this point of time. So I think he's analyzing and he's thinking. So I feel he's a thinker and wife is a relator, not a warrior.
okay, so this wife is very frustrated and she is really fed up of her husband because these conversations are happening regularly. And what advice would you give her so that her husband can understand her perspective?
I'd give her the advice of not taking every conversation personally. We see her taking it as a personal attack as opposed to an objective conversation about an item rather than about her personality and her abilities.
Okay.
Would
fine.
you say
So
that she's evaluating herself instead of evaluating a situation and keeping it to a situational interaction? A lot of times we find in relationships, people go into ego and personal affront, whereas it's only situational.
You mean to say you're talking of self-worth issues?
Not only self-worth, Rupal, but also there are times when people don't mean to at all attack you or who you are, and yet you take things completely out of context
Personally,
and
you take it.
personally because you have self-esteem issues, whereas the man is very obviously, and very often men do just speak about an item or a situation, and women do tend to make it very personal. So, I mean, I'm not denigrating women and I'm not being anti-feminist, but I do see this in women. It becomes emotional, whereas it should stay with the situation. I mean, here the guy is talking about the shirt and he feels as, the guy who's probably the predominant earner of the family, that, hey, the shirt is too expensive. So if she feels strongly about it, she could also just say, hey, no, this time I feel we should overlook it. But she's made it very personal, if you notice.
Okay, so now this conversation has many dimensions, but keeping our framework in mind, which is thinker, relator, warrior, and a dreamer. Okay, uh, the wife is more of a relator. She is more of a relator. The husband is more of a thinker, and she's getting quite frustrated. If she has to work on this conversation, which box she has to move into is the question.
A thinker, probably, Guruji.
Okay,
I
now
think she should evaluate and maybe, think more about making purchases, or maybe think from, the husband's point of view, that why would he get frustrated if she has gone shopping or if she's bought an expensive shirt? Was it required? So maybe think, rationalize, analyze, and then make the purchase.
so because the husband is a thinker, I will speak in a way which he understands, right? And then the person, the husband might understand why she or he is, why is she feeling the way she is feeling. Because right now the husband is not able to understand why is she feeling like this. So maybe she has to move from a relator to a thinker. So we gave her this advice. This was advice given to her, and she changed her conversation. And we're going to play another track, which will tell us how she changed her track. Okay, so let's. Uh,
Remember when we took the whole family out to dinner and the waiter handed me the check? I started looking it over and you pulled it away from me. Then you looked at it and gave your credit card. What do you think that I can't add? I felt stupid, especially in front of your parents. or when we went to get a new coffee pot that day. I picked one out and you put it back on the shelf. You came back with a different one and gave me a lecture about why I didn't pick a good brand. You assumed you knew more about it than I did. I wanted the one I picked because it was on sale. I knew the brand. It was good enough for me. Then you take something out of my hands and replace it without even asking why I took it in the first place. I'm thinking you must really think I'm an idiot.
Okay, so did the conversation change this time? Do you see anything different?
Did she evaluate more and explain her feelings better rather than jumping into the situation in a impassioned monologue?
So the thinker typically uses a lot of facts, a lot of logic in explaining his or her point of view. So he actually moved into this particular role of a thinker because her husband could understand why she feels how she feels. And now I'm sure the husband understands the perspective. So these are the ways thinkers speak, and thinkers expect others to speak. And the strengths of a thinker is they are very clear, they have clarity, they have prudence, they know, okay, in this situation, what is the right path to take. They're very humble. So thinkers know that they don't know enough, they need to learn, and they're open to it. And they're very patient because thinking requires patience. So if you have patience, if you're humble, if you're prudent, if you're clear, then these are the strengths of a thinker. Yeah. Any questions on thinkers before we move to the next one?
Hari bol. Prabhu, I'm not very, I'm not this, when you mentioned the strengths of the, thinker, humility, patience, prudence, and clarity. So I couldn't understand how clarity is a strength. Why I'm saying is the reason he has to think is because he's not very clear. So isn't so I couldn't understand this very properly. It's like clarity isn't clarity for a dreamer that he's clear with the dream, and the thinker is thinking because he's not very clear. I mean, so yeah. I mean, so that's the question. So is
Yeah,
it
it's a
correct?
good question. What I understand is that they get clarity very soon. When they start thinking, they are pretty quick to come to some kind of direction. It doesn't take them too much time to get clarity. So that's their strength. And because they've done a lot of work in the past and things are clear in their head on many issues, then to get further clarity is not a problem. But if you're unclear in your head on most of the issues, it's very difficult to get clarity on other issues.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is my understanding. I will also study this a little more, and maybe in the next session I will come back to you when we discuss these trends a little more in detail.
Could you please repeat the 4 points, Prabhuji, again? Humility, the
The
strengths of
point,
a thinker,
clarity, they are prudent, humble, patient.
Thank you.
And even curiosity would be common between a dreamer and a thinker. They're very curious and to know, are there any other ways, any other paths to do things? Yeah. So we move to the next one, which is the relator. Okay. Relator is, we all understand, we all play this role of a relator. Emotions are important. And some people value this more than others. So there's a friend of mine who's a chartered accountant, and he was telling me the other day that he struggled in his initial years of life, decided to become a chartered accountant, went abroad, he was earning handsomely, came back to India because he was missing his family. So I asked him that, you had this dream of earning a lot of money and you reached that stage of life where you're earning well. Why do you come back? He said, I value relationships. And I did not see any point of working hard, earning money when I cannot be with my family. So these are people who value relationships, whose strengths are relationships. They love to connect with people. They love to forge relationships. They nurture relationships. You know, it's not just people; it's even causes. They are people who believe in causes. You know, uh, if you look at the Tata Group, after the 26/11 attack, we really saw the heart in them. We saw the lover in them. We saw the relator in them. How they took care of the employees. And Ratan Tata, after hearing about what they are doing for the employee, he said, can we do something more for them? So that's like a relator organization. Now I'm going to give you a situation again, and you need to tell me whether this is high relator, low relator, balanced relator. Okay. Now you are part of a committee of an organization, and this committee organizes events for employees. They incentivize them for doing a good job, and 20 people have been selected to go on a foreign trip because the company did very well last year, and you want to reward them, and they're all excited about it, and they've told their family, and suddenly COVID strikes the world, and the the top management team has decided that we will not be able to get everybody on board for this trip. Only 5 people will go, 15 people will not go because we are in the cost cutting phase. And option A response is, okay, what I will do is, not the right time to speak to these 15 people. I will call them into the conference room day after tomorrow, organize some coffee and cake for them. And while I'm talking to them, I will tell them about the situation which we are facing. And I will tell them the reason. I will announce the news and give them the rationale behind it. So that's option A. That's response A. Response B is, take your phone, open your WhatsApp, send messages to all the 15 people. Sorry, folks, the plan has been scrapped because of cost cutting measures. You will not be able to go on this trip. Response C is that you're feeling really bad about it. Oh my God, because for you value relationships, and you've been turning and twisting in bed about how you're going to tell these 15 people. You think of calling them and personally talking to them, and then you think of an idea. You know what? I want to call all these 15 guys for a small get together, a small party at my house. I'm going to get gifts for them, and I'm going to treat them with lovely dinner. And yes, I will announce the news at that time. Now you tell me who is a high relator, a low relator, or a balanced relator. And I want to hear some new voices. Yeah, I've not been
The
hearing.
first one.
Low
The
and
first one is balanced.
Slow and high.
First one is balanced, then low, and then high.
Fine, thank you. So I think you've got a good understanding of. So why is high so high? Why is the high relator so high?
He's been overthinking, over analyzing how he's going to break the news.
Okay.
is to attack.
What is he doing? What is he doing so much which makes it high?
Balancing the relationships. He valued the relationships.
Yeah, but
I think Guruji is more compassionate. I think he's thinking more for the people. Compassionate.
So the high relator is what the high relator did is appropriate.
High relator is giving a very good experience. He's always thinking about giving experiences which cannot be forgotten. And there is nothing wrong in that actually. Only thing you should have the capacity and the heart to extend so much.
Okay. What about the balanced relator? What do you think he or she did?
I think the balance related is more closer to the actual reality of the situation.
More practical.
Why do you feel like that? Why do you think he's more practical?
Because the thinker in him is also working. Balance.
He was working. Okay. Okay.
Because he was thinking that having a meeting and giving that decision in a balanced way, because he doesn't want to hurt anybody's feeling. He wanted to approach in a gentle way, though it is not a good news. It might not be well taken, but he wanted to do it in a better way as much as he could.
Thank you. So as high lovers or high relators, we sometimes overdo the love part or the relator part. Does that happen to us? We overdo it. We are overly compassionate. We are overly caring. We overly endeavor to make people happy. Uh, why do we do that? It costs us something. It hurts us something. But we do that. We do a little more than what is really required. Does that happen to us? Do we have this high lover in us?
Yes,
So
it
my
happened.
Yes,
is,
definitely.
I have a question on this. Is that a bad thing? If we are able to have low expectations about the result of giving and sharing and being there for people, if our expectations are low, is that a bad thing? I need to ask you.
Okay. So this whole program is based on the premise that for me to rise above the ground level, I need to go deep inside myself because that will give me the strength and energy to rise. So if by doing this, I'm hurting myself, if I am loving myself less, if I'm caring for myself less, I will not be able to care for the world outside too long. If there is no self-love inside, there won't be love outside. If there's less trust inside, there'll be less trust outside. So a lot of people cross the line by hurting themselves to please others. And that's the high element of a relator. Yes, if it is within your capacity to do it, please do it. But some people go to a very large extent of hurting themselves to please others. Now, let me give you a situation, okay? You have an employee in your company who's not performing well. It's hurting the employee because that employee is not going to grow. It's hurting the company. As a high relator or high lover, why is it so difficult for you to tell this person to move out? It's very difficult because I'm a high relator. I understand what it takes to tell somebody to walk out of a company, even if the person is not performing well, which is not good for the person, which is not good for the company. What's the problem with the high relator? What is the concern of the high relator?
He puts himself in other person's place.
Yes. Yeah, and he's feeling the hurt. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's feeling the hurt, yeah.
But if
He's
this
more into
person comes
public
to say,
relations.
I'm sorry?
He's more into public relations. He values more that.
He values the relationships. It's hurting him for sure because the department is suffering, but they're bearing the hurt. Why is the person not telling the person to leave? But if this person comes and tells him or her that I want to leave, they'll be very happy. Why is it that this person is not telling this person to leave, the person who needs to leave?
Is it that he has some image consciousness that how can I say no? What will the other person think about me? So he's overly thinking that.
Maybe he's thinking about that. More importantly is the guilt. The guilt.
Doesn't want to hurt.
Yeah, doesn't want to hurt, and the guilt of hurting the other person will kill this person. Guilt of hurting the other person will kill the person. So he
Guruji, I
or
want to
she,
give an example here. My sister-in-law, she was planning to shift job. She works as a dermatologist. For the past 5 days, I'm talking because it has just happened and it's just come to me that, she's been thinking and overthinking that, how would the doctor manage? She's an assistant doctor to a senior doctor, but she's getting a
yes,
better opportunity somewhere else. But she is so reluctant and she's so unhappy about accepting the new job because she's overthinking that how should I tell my present senior doctor? How will she manage? How is she going to do without me? Is why she's unable to accept the new opportunity which is just right in front of her. So I think it's the same situation, Guruji,
exactly.
there. And she's unable to confront, she's unable to, because she has that guilt that I have worked with her for 5 years, how do I give up my, I feel, Guruji, there's certain amount of insecurity also of
Many
losing
people.
that respect in the present employer,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I feel she's unable to take up that new job because of this guilt.
Exactly. A lot of mothers, don't want to work because there is a guilt associated that I'm going to deprive my child of certain things, you know. So it's a guilt that, what will this employer think of me that, I left her and went, you know, how will I face that, in the situation? My relationship with the person will get spoiled.
Correct,
So
Guruji.
how high relators are not able to take these decisions because of the weakness inside them. So it's a reflection of what is inside you uh, that comes out, and that's the whole end goal. So people who are balanced, uh, low lovers, I mean low relators also, they also tend to be disconnected because uh, they don't build relationships. They just are concerned with work. Like this happened to one of my colleagues. He was with a client, and the client asked this lady on a dinner table that if we don't have a business relationship, would you still call me? If we don't have a business relationship for tomorrow, for some reason we don't work together, will you still call me? Will you still be connected with me? And this person was such a low relator. She said, she was thinking, why should I contact him if I don't have anything to talk? So in corporate sectors, it's only about work. And once the work is done, the relationship is over. But the fact of the matter is, if you keep the relationship on also and the work also, then there are many more opportunities that can open up. So yes, what does a balanced relator do? The balanced relator connects with emotions and logic both. I mean, it's just not logic, connects with emotions. Okay, not only emotions of people, even his or her own emotions. If you like to play the guitar, play the guitar. If you like to sing, sing. If you connect with your own emotions, if we connect with our own emotions, we can connect with people outside also. If I'm disconnected with my own emotions, I won't be connected with emotions outside. And a person who's a balanced relator is able to understand others' emotions also well. If he's talking to a 5-year-old grandson, he talks in that language because that's the language the 5-year-old child understands. And very importantly, a balanced relator builds trust by being authentic, by being natural, not appearing to be natural, but being natural, by showing that, I am what I am, and that builds trust. And the strengths which a balanced relator possesses is compassion, openness, generosity, empathy, and acceptance. So these are the strengths of a relator: compassionate, very open to ideas, very generous, empathy, understands people, and accepts people for who they are, what they are, because people are different. My spouse may be more of a thinker. I accept it. Maybe I need to adapt myself to be more of a thinker when I talk to him or her. So let's accept each other for their personalities, for their strengths, and let's work in a wholesome way. But yes, the key to maturity is adaptability. If in a particular situation I need to be a thinker, I will be a thinker for that moment and come back to my relator. But I have the adaptability, I have the maturity to sense the situation and play my team member part. But how do I do it is what we'll address in the next session. How I flex myself from a dreamer to a thinker. How does it happen? Why does it happen? We will take that in the next session. So yes, we have exceeded time. It's
Can you
8:49.
please repeat the strengths of uh, the strengths?
Compassion, openness, generosity, empathy, and acceptance. Okay, any questions, any comments before we say good night?
I, I just want to ask you one thing.
Yes,
So when Neha here.
Oh yes, hi Nia.
Hi. So just want to ask you that when a person is high on this factor, so aren't they taken for granted most of the time?
On the relator front?
On the relator front, yeah.
Yeah, if you allow them to take you for granted.
Okay.
Yeah, it is up to us.
It's just that you're kind of over concerned of the other person, and so it's just that it's not taken in right way, is what I think. So it needs to go in a balanced way.
Yeah. So that's where maybe we need to be more mindful that maybe I'm giving in too much, and that's not good. With your children, if you're too permissive, they may sit on your head. If you're too punitive, they will be very fearful of you. So we don't have to be too permissive. We don't have to be too punitive. We don't have to be too kind. We don't have to be too firm. We have to be kind and firm. That's the balance.
Got the point. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Any other questions?
Namaste, Deepakji. This is
Yes.
Ramanand here.
Yes, Ramanji.
Yesterday we the last session we also saw that there are two aspects to these four persons. One is divine and one is demoniac.
Yes.
So what we have seen up till now is more of divine aspects.
Right.
Or is it that the motive of this all four persons decides whether it is divine or demoniac?
Yeah, these people have see, it's like a knife. I can use it to cut vegetables. I can use it to murder somebody. So they have the potential to do both. However, the transformer in me will ensure that we move on the path towards my goal uh, in alignment to my values. Because all the four can be as constructive and as destructive as you want them to be. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, yes.
So, Prabhu, I have a question. So,
Yes.
in the beginning of the session, when I asked about, the protection thing for a warrior, and you mentioned that, when something is in danger, the warrior inside will call out. And then now we were discussing about the relator, and we did discuss about thinker and others. So my question here is the example which you mentioned day before, that one of your like you are the team lead, and one of the person in the team, he goes he goes for a vacation. He tells you that, tomorrow I'm on a vacation.
Yes.
And then you say that, who is the boss, I mean, like, who decides?
Right.
Both of us decides, right? Okay. So now my question is that you told that, it for someone who is a relator, it might become a little difficult. Okay. It is little difficult to, express it so
Yes.
boldly. So my question here is related to, when you mention that till the time something is in danger. So now if the project situation is there, that if it is very critical, then taking a leave is out of question. But if the if the project situation is not very critical, and if you can afford a leave, then you will automatically give that. So my question, what I want to bring out here is, I seek your understanding for that. Is that till that time the trigger doesn't comes, those attributes will not come in action? Is Can we conclude like that? Say suppose if someone is asking me for some money, if he's asking for 1,000 rupees, I can give the 1,000 rupees very easily, I do not have any problem. But if he's
Right.
asking me for 10,000 rupees, then because
Right.
I do not have that, so it doesn't triggers. So am I able to express myself? So I
Yeah.
just wanted
Yeah.
to ask this question. So
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
we conclude that till the time when a danger situation doesn't comes, the trigger doesn't comes of all the four or any of the four? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a nice question. The point is that when the trigger happens, do you have the capacity to deal with the situation? It's like how do I put it? Is like I'm walking on the road, and there is a person. I'm walking on the road with my wife, and the person confronts me and my wife, and I have to either fight with this guy or I lose my wife. Now, do I have the capacity to fight with that person? That capacity has not been built at that moment. It has been built over the years. So if I've developed my muscles, I've developed my courage, I've developed some skills, then I can fight in that situation. So when the situation arrives, at that point in time, it depends on my capacity which I built. So I can't wait for the situation to arrive and then I build my capacity. I have to build my capacity, and then when the situation arrives, I will deal with it based on my capacity.
Okay. Okay, fine. So just 1 minute more, please.
Yeah.
So in that sense, so okay. So before, say suppose, suppose I didn't had this clear understanding of, before attending this seminar.
Mhm.
So I have been acting out based on whatever dreamer, thinker, related warrior I have been,
Mhm.
and to any situation. Now after this session, when I understand that, I need to consciously build on the things which I do not have, so that I be ready for all the situations in future.
Yeah.
So that's
So
the
what you need to do is you need to see what are your strengths in all these four, because some will be there in you, and maybe you start working on that first, right? What comes naturally to you, you build that up. At least you build that muscle,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
some strengths may be unrealized, so you can build those.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Yes, we've exceeded time, so thank you very much for being a part of this. This is the first time I'm actually doing this
You want to just
workshop.
talk about the
Yeah. So we have this assessment which Radhika Kishori will share with you. Please do it in a very spontaneous way, because these will tell you your natural strengths, right? And this will also tell you your 5 signature strengths. So do this exercise, read your 5 signature strengths, analyze it, talk to people around you, whether this makes sense or not. Think of examples where you've used them, and then we'll take it up when we meet on Friday again. Okay, thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Good night. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.